What's going on, Lions fans? Couple of quick updates, man. Dan Campbell had a press conference this morning and pretty much gave out the news. I tweeted it out immediately. Man, I don't like to be right about stuff. I really don't, especially when it comes to the Lions and it's something that's not in a good light. I don't want to be right. But then you get news like we got today that, Levi Onwuzurike is out for the entire season with the ACL. It's extremely disappointing. Me being a person who, didn't like the pick in the first place, took a lot of friction from the fan base for voicing that opinion, and then voicing the opinion that I believe that he was an injury prone guy. News like this comes out today, instantly sent me through the roof. Instantly sent me through the roof, man. You want to see him be available, you want to see him play, so he can at least show some sign of why we drafted him at number 2. I mean, in the second round. I said number 2, good Lord. Second round. You want to see that, you know what I'm saying? And it sucks. Another guy that I'm starting to keep an eye on is Ennis Rakestraw. He left practice today with some type of chest injury. Hopefully is, just something precautionary, but injuries are starting to be attached to his name a lot too. All the potential in the world, but injuries are giving them issues. We got a lot of players on this team like that, man. We always talk about Davenport and how talented he is, but the thing is, he just can't never stay on the field. At some point, you have to cut ties with these type of guys. Ennis is a different story. He, like I say, he just got here. But Onwuzurike, this is old, man. It's old. On the good side of things, you get the news that Taylor Decker is fine. The injuries reports came out, and a lot of people was wondering, what it was. I felt like the entire time last season that he was playing through injuries, but he went ahead and got something corrected, and he should be back for the Hall of Fame game. That's what Dan Campbell told the media today. I was actually appreciative of Dan Campbell because some teams are smug and don't really want to tell you nothing, but today he told it like it was. Onwuzurike went from a few months to out for the season. And, like I say, he didn't hesitate to say it either. But to give us details on these guys like this is, I appreciate Dan Campbell for doing that. Injuries happen. Injuries happen when you starting up the off season, you getting ready to go into training camp. Injuries happen in training camp. And it's nothing that you can do about it. It's not like these people are asking to be injured, but some people's, when it comes to their I don't know, body type, I guess it is, they suffer more injuries than the usual. And you have to recognize that. And, you got part of the fan base that's been taking a lot of flack for saying, hey, man, we want more when it comes to adding to our defensive line because of these type of things right here. We just don't trust these things. We don't trust Davenport. A fool in his most rightest mind shouldn't trust Davenport, man, because of the history. But, some Lions fans just blindly are optimistic, and that's them. That's their preference, but I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. And, you have no reason to trust a guy in Davenport that he can play the entire season. You hope that's the case. You really want that to be the case. But you gotta have steps in place, man. You just have to have steps in place. Zadarius Smith just sitting around out there We're not saying it like this dude is Micah Parsons or somebody at this stage of his career, but he's a veteran who has proven to be able to be on the field, that has proven to be able to be productive. That's why. When you look at the trenches, the Detroit Lions have a history of not being good when our trenches are bad. We have a history with that. And we just lost Ragnow. You see what I'm saying? So we lost a couple of guys on that O-line too. When you look at the trenches overall, you have question marks. Dan Campbell said it himself in the press conference this morning that his eyes was on the offensive line because we lost Zeitler and we lost Ragnow. I'm the same way. The trenches are responsible for everybody. You know, people give credit to every other position that they want to, but the trenches are all that matter. Your running back is not going to be good if the trenches are terrible. Your quarterback is not going to be good if the trenches are terrible. We should know that personally. You're not going to beat elite teams if your pass rush is not elite or good enough. I'll say that. That's just how it goes. The trenches are responsible for everything. Your secondary is going to suffer if your trenches cannot get the proper pressure that they're supposed to. You can't keep winging it like we've grown used to with Aaron Glenn. You can't keep winging it along like that. You need to be able to create pressure up front, and you need to be able to do it alongside Hutch, not just without Hutch. You need to do it alongside Hutch because, you know, I mean, contrary to a lot of the belief, but you have to look at it. You know, some of Hutch's best performances last season they did not come from starting offensive linemen in front of him. So, and that's just the reality, and I'm just being real. I'm not taking anything away from Hutch at all. I mean, obviously he's a otherworldly player, but let's just be real about it, man. You know, you got to give him some type of real counterparts out there. You can't depend on the rookie. You know, Onwuzurike is out now. Now you have to deal with trying to depend on rookies and some veterans that, you know, that you done picked from other teams' garbage. The reality could hit this fan base very fast and very hard. And I don't think I'm mentally in the right headspace to deal with it because, yeah, our schedule is extremely tough. You heard Dan Campbell say in the press conference today that they have to get going now and get going early because of that schedule. You know, they say that they wouldn't want it any other way, but let's be real about it, man. If the Lions could have a middle-of-the-pack type of schedule, they'll take it. You know, you want to hear the confidence, but it sounds good. It's a war cry, but let's be real. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. If you don't like realness, man, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't be watching me I'm tell you all the time, I'm not going to blow hot air up your butt. I'm sorry. That's just not what I'm going to do. I'm not a panicking fan either. I'm just telling you, look at the facts and look what's going on in front of you. And don't get side blinded by something that you should have seen coming a mile away. I'm not saying they're going to have a terrible season. I'm not going to say they missed the playoffs. What I'm saying is they need to make some movement. They need to do something. You know, a couple of signings here and there just to shore up things won't hurt you. That's where I'm at with it. Those are the updates for today. We'll keep our eye out and see what happened for practice, and we most likely will be talking about that later. But for right now, that's just where the news is, and that's the outlook of the beginning of the season for the Detroit Lions. Training camp is coming, and the trenches will be all I'll be looking for. With that said, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.